second, but this could be interesting. Let's go to Rob in Alameda. Hey, Rob, you're on with Dibby and Wibby. What's going on?
How's it going, guys? Big fan. First time calling your show.
Thank you.
I'm a lifelong Dubs fan. What's that?
Yeah, lifelong Dubs fan. It's awesome.
I said thank you. That was all.
Yeah, thanks. So lifelong Dubs fan. This Klay situation has had me sick all weekend. Thinking back to your guys' call with Stephen A. when there was talk about the trade and potentially maybe doing a sign and trade with Klay, if it doesn't work out with the payroll. But I'm worried now with the situation, him being disgruntled, that might not be, an option anymore. And, say what you want about KD, but he did the sign and trade. He didn't have to, and we may not get that fourth ring without him. So curious what you guys think about, the possibility of that and what that might do to his legacy or what the fans might think if Klay is so disgruntled that he leaves and we don't even get a sign and trade out of it.
This one is a good question, Rob. Thank you for calling and for your kind comments. I like that. This is a tough one. Here's why that would be difficult. When we say that there's discord between the Warriors and Klay, we don't really know the depth of that. We know what we can see. We know that there have been very, very well-confirmed reports that Klay has been upset off and on for the whole year. I think Steve Kerr admitted as much. You don't have 4 closed-door meetings if everything feels great. So Klay was mad, and now it appears Klay is mad again. Does it mean that he would purposefully not do a sign-and trade? Maybe, maybe not. But here's actually where my mind goes on that.
Okay.
I think the Warriors would have a really hard PR time, quote-unquote, trading Klay Thompson.
I see that.
I don't think they want to do that.
From a PR standpoint, it would be a hit, but in the long term, you could at least say, hey, we got something back for him. I think a bigger issue is their ability to even do that because they'd have to get out of the second apron, which is a luxury tax penalty threshold where they currently sit, and none of that really takes effect until July 1st. So you're talking about really threading the needle here between free agency beginning and I know a lot of these deals and these conversations have already happened and they've been discussed already, but you need to get down in payroll to get into the space where you can even take money back, because as it is right now, they can't even take a single dollar more back than what they send out. So you'd be sending Klay out for whatever you sign him for, $27 million for next year, and if you're not out of that second apron, then you can't get anything back other than less than $27 million. Yeah.
It
gets to be very, very difficult, I think, the timing of it.
Complex deal. Could you involve Chris Paul in it to a team that wants Klay Thompson and then wants some salary relief or something like that? Now you're sending back something, like $55 million or whatever in contracts back to the Warriors. I would be very surprised if you found a fit for that. So, would Klay just be like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not helping the Warriors? Maybe, but I just don't see it ever even getting to that.
Right.
I think there's a staircase to climb before that that's too hard to climb.
Right, and I think it's going to be one to watch heading into July 1st on what they do with their other decisions. That might signal to you, to me, to everybody, where the Warriors are as far as that going, because you've got Chris Paul on, I think, June 28th is when his contract becomes fully guaranteed.
Soon.
Yeah, 11 days. And I think Kavan's is June 26th, his deal.
9 days.
Right, so when we get to those decisions, they're going to be made based on certain things. If they guarantee any of Chris Paul's contract, because I don't think they have to fully guarantee the whole thing, but if they guarantee some of it, we may then have action on a possible trade. Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to see some, as you like to say, breadcrumbs, tea leaves. We're going to see some moves that they make that are going to signal ahead of July 1st when the new league year starts the direction that they're going to go.
Yeah. This information is coming really, really soon. It's coming really, really soon.
Yeah. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And this could be like the new league year starts July 1. The old league year could end here in about 3 hours if the Celtics handle business.
The Celtics are winning tonight.
Yeah, I think so too.
Celtics are winning tonight.
I would imagine.
I don't know what's going on with Porzingis, but this is just, to me, this is what you would call kind of an energy game. Like, I think the building overwhelms the Dallas Mavericks tonight. It's not to say that Luka and Kyrie can't handle situations like that, but this is a freight train. When you win game 4, tonight becomes the game. Obviously, the series is over if Boston wins, but if Dallas wins, that's when it becomes a sphincter series. You start to get a little tight. It's like, wait a minute.
Pucker?
Yeah, you're not coming back, are you? You know what I mean?
No team has ever blown a 3-0
lead. Here we go, and all that whole thing. And it's like, no, they're not coming back. But still, now you're staring down the barrel of a Game 7 situation because your Game 6 would be on the road. I think that the Boston Celtics have had 3 years of frustration that is going to get poured into tonight.
By the way, really quick,
yes.
Joe Mazzulla, Celtics head coach, has talked. He expects Kristaps Porzingis to play. He is officially available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Full minutes, probably not, what have you, but he's going to be out there. And I just think from that fan base to Tatum and Brown is such an energy player. What happened against the Warriors in that building in Game 4 2 years ago, still fresh on their mind. Miami Heat, a play-in tournament team, knocks them out. Like, there is a lot of angst, and that is all going to be poured into tonight. And that's asking the Mavericks to do a lot to outplay that.
For sure, yeah. Especially when you've been, kind of outplayed throughout the entirety of the series. I mean, Boston's had the better of them, other than Game 4, where, Dallas came out and they were playing with all that energy you talked about, and that thing got away from them so quickly. And you can kind of see the Celtics wave the white flag in that one, knowing that they're up 3-0.
Dip toe in water on something for me. I wonder how everyone feels about this, because I hear a lot of sort of big statements about how the fan base feels about Klay. I was struck by what Rob just said. I've been sick about this Klay thing all weekend long. God, Rob, I hope you don't have kids. You didn't ruin Father's Day worrying about Klay, did you? I hope not. But anyway, this idea that the fan base wants Klay gone, doesn't like Klay, I really do think is largely the result of the echo chamber in which we live.
Agreed.
If you spend a lot of time in sports media, social media, sports radio, whatever, I do think you come away with an inaccurate portrayal of what this fan base thinks about Klay Thompson. I think there are plenty of people also who do the Klay got paid, almost $100 million to be hurt. He should be grateful. I think Klay is grateful. I think Klay is incredibly thankful. However, Klay also is like, I'm a really good basketball player and we won a bunch of championships and I'm not giving the money back. Like, I'm worth this. Sorry, I'm worth this. I'm not going to apologize for it. Both times I got hurt trying to even be better for the Golden State Warriors. That's what I'm trying to do. So it's interesting to watch the way fans always sort of pick a side. Player, owner. Where do you identify? The player should be thankful. No, the team should be thankful. Whatever. But I do think that there is this sort of misconception about how the fan base feels about Klay. I would still argue my bet, majority rule, is going to be really torn up at the idea that Klay Thompson left.
Absolutely.
I still think that's the majority opinion.
For me, and we've had this conversation about, how you feeling and where are your emotions and all that. And for me, it's going to be when that Shams tweet, or if it's Woj who gets it, when that comes out and the fill in the blank have agreed to a 3-year, $84 million deal with Klay Thompson, that's going to hit me. And then the other one is when he has the press conference and he stands up with the GM on one side and the coach on the other.
And the jersey.
And he holds up the jersey.
The Magic jersey.
The blue Orlando jersey with the number 11 and the Thompson on the back.
And Banchero's in the first row.
That's when it's going to hit me. And, I think
that sucks.
The term you used, echo chamber, I think it's accurate. And a lot of it is, because of us in the media, we react on social media. And the majority of the people who go to social media are on the negative side. You don't often see people, rush to social media to praise a player like this in this spot.
Or who calls our show.
Right.
So, like, I hear that a lot. Like, if you're really, first of all, we'd love the living hell out of you if you're that tapped into 95.7 The Game.
Yeah.
Good on you. Tell your friends. If you're that tapped in, you can go through each day and come away with, damn, people really don't like Klay. I don't think that's accurate at all because it's like you said. How many people are driving around? Okay, you get a late lunch. It's time to go back to work. All right, there's the handoff thingy, and now it's Willie and Dibby, and they're talking about Klay Thompson. And I just want to call those guys to let them know that I think Klay Thompson's the bee's knees. That's it. I'm just inspired to call you guys to let you know that I think Klay is just amazeballs.
Yeah, you don't often get that.
Nobody does that.
Well, you don't do that about any player. Like,
Steph gets it sometimes.
Yeah, well.
Sometimes Steph, and people are just like, I don't even believe this guy exists.
Usually it's after he did something that's just unbelievable. I mean, think about the calls we get. It's Jorge Soler can't hit.
Totally.
It's Luciano can't play short. Camilo Duvall can't close.
I went off on this last week about Vamos Ramos.
Yeah.
Why is this so quiet? This guy's a flippin' all-star.
He might be.
Have you watched this dude play?
It's crazy.
He is firing line drives to the outfield almost every at-bat. He is absolutely crushing it.
And now there's chatter that he actually might get voted in.
He should.
Yeah, he's been incredible.
He is their all-star. He is their all-star.
Fine. That's all quaint and cute.
But anyway.
Let's rip somebody.
I digress. Exactly.
Because that's what we do. Not only in our show, I think we do a good job of positivity more than other shows, but in general, like Stephen A. and that show, First Take, and all the shows, it's all about take and negativity and rip somebody. I mean, heck, the WNBA now has been injected into our lives because of what?
Yeah.
Because of the negativity.
Controversy.
And the hate.
Sure.
I mean, I could ask you, or I could quiz anybody on who's the leading scorer in the WNBA, and most people wouldn't know. And yet, if you said Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, well, now we got takes, and everybody's got opinion, and this and that and the other thing.
You'd be wrong, though. They're not the leading scorer in the WNBA.
Oh, yeah, I know neither one of them is.
What's her name? Is it Asa? What's her name?
Asia Wilson.
Thank you.
Las Vegas Aces.
I know.
Is she leading still?
Pretty sure.
She's like the best player in the world.
She set the
right
record
now.
for most consecutive 20-point games in WNBA history. I know that.
Enrique was leading for a while.
I don't.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. I do not pretend that I've got the whole thing dialed. I know a lot more about it than I ever have before.
And it's because of the negativity and the tension surrounding it. And that's my point. And my point was not to get off on a WNBA tangent, but the thing about Klay Thompson, a lot of it is the echo chamber of the negativity. We repeat it. It becomes a thing. And it just kind of continues to spiral and have a life of its own.
Yeah, how about this one? If you listen to 95.7 The Game, you know what Clank Thompson means.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think anybody's yelling that at Chase Center? Like, for a second now, have you been to any game and people, like, he goes 0 for 2 in the first quarter? Clank! Nobody's doing that. I've been to the games. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. That is reactive to what happened in Sacramento, and it is reactive to how we talk to one another in this industry sometimes. And it is a little unfortunate because I do think it leads to misconceptions. I don't think this fan base hates Klay Thompson or, quote, wants him gone. I think there's a healthy bit of fans who understand why he might be. That's different now than want him gone. I don't want him gone. I understand why he might be. I very much understand why he might be. It's circumstances.
Right.
For both of them, for the team and for the player.
Yeah, it's a lot of it. It's finances, it's role, it's definitely circumstances, like you said. And, the Monty Poole piece today in NBC Sports Bay Area is interesting because he's getting a lot of quotes from Leandro Barbosa, Klay's buddy, and you get in the sense of what you talk about, which is priority. And if you're Klay and you want to be a free agent for the first time really in your whole career, you want that special feeling. You want people to want you, and your own team is kind of saying, maybe in a minute, Klay, not now.
Yeah.
It's not your turn.
What did Barbosa say? We not going to be championship? What did he say?
He said, quote, he's going to have to really be patient. I hope he comes back. I don't know what's the situation, but it's going to be tough. I know the money's going up, and he's been thinking about the money. But I think he needs to be happy. I think that's the most important thing.
There you have it.
But the word is patient.
Patient. That tells you what the Warriors are doing. Klay, I'm sorry. We're not ready to offer you anything yet. And if I were Klay, that would drive me batty. I know a lot of you, but you paid him when he was hurt. That would drive me batty. A decade with a team, 4 rings, a future Hall of Famer. And I call because it's contract time and you go, yeah, well, we're not even ready to talk to you. Excuse me? You're not ready to talk to me? Sorry. We're doing other stuff right now.
I'm just picturing Klay going into the front office, the literal front office, and going to Joe Lacob's secretary. Hey, it's Klay. You see Joe. Have a seat. Joe's in a meeting right now. He'll be right with you. And Klay's in there for hour after hour after hour. Every about 40 minutes, he goes back up. Hey, is Joe free yet? Yeah, he's on a call, and he's got a lunch at 2. Can you be patient, Klay?
What's your estimate? July.
Seriously.
Mid-July. Come on.
You've been in those situations where you go to meet with somebody. It's like, it's going to be a little bit. Go ahead and hang out over there. We're going to get to you. It's like, man.
It's not easy. Let's go to Heck in Berkeley. Hey, Heck, what the heck are you doing? I couldn't resist. What's going on?
I'm listening to you guys.
All right,
and
that works.
You're saying, I think, a lot of really what I want to say, but you know what? I don't think you have to be for or against Klay or, one or the other. To me, I love Klay. I love his style. I love how hard he tries. I'd love to have him on the team, but I don't think he's a starter anymore. I think he's a gun who comes off the bench. Some of the times he shoots well and sometimes he doesn't. And I think he may be worth 16, maybe 18 million, but he's not worth for the Warriors because I also want to win, And so I want Klay, but I want to win. And that means Klay isn't going to, Klay's defense is down. So I'd like him on the team, but it may be better for Klay, and I'll wish him well in Orlando, where there's a bunch of young guys and they can use a guy who's won some championships. But, the Warriors got to think about, not the past. They need to think about where are we going next year? What's the best way we can put a team together? And we only got so much money. And, anyway, that's what I got to say. It's like I want Klay, but I want him at the right price.
Thanks, Heck. I think that what you're saying is pretty spot on and displays exactly why Klay Thompson's probably going to be on another team next year.
And on behalf of Klay, Heck, when you said 16 to 18, I hung up the phone.
And a bench roll.
Right.
We want you, but we just don't want you.
Right. We want you at $16 million to be our sixth man.
I wonder if everybody sees that in a similar way. This is kind of how I would bet Klay hears that. I know that a lot, like Shams every week. The Warriors want him back. Mike Dunleavy in front of a microphone. We want Klay back, and we've told him that. And fans are like, we want him on the team, but just not in that way. Here's what I think Klay hears. Hey, Klay, we want you back. We just don't want you back. Because Klay doesn't see himself the way many of you are talking about him. Think about that. We want you back, but not the player who you think you are. We want the player who we think you are. And we would like to offend you by telling you who we think you are. We think that you should be on the bench, and we'd like to pay you half of what all of the other teams want to pay you.
Exactly. We want to pay you less and play you less.
Then he's like, then you don't want me. You don't want me because the market is telling you who I am. My stats are telling you who I am, but you are still comparing me to who I was 6 years ago, which isn't fair. And therefore, you want me to be someone completely different who's cheaper and less effective than what I actually am. That's how do you navigate that?
Well, you don't. And that's why he still is in the waiting room harassing the virtual secretary to try to get that meeting because they're saying you have to be patient while we go out there and try to make big swings for bigger names, players that we think can have a bigger role on this team. And meanwhile, Klay's probably sitting there thinking, well, screw this then. I'm going to start to take some action in my social media. I'm going to unfollow and scrub some pictures and start to turn the page and get ready to move to Florida.
It's like when you're on time to a Zoom, but that little spinny thing comes up. The host will let you in soon.
Yeah.
How long am I going to sit here and stare at this screen before something happens here? Before I just close my laptop and move on with my day.
Yeah. It's brutal.